Welcome to Collaboration Conversations. I'm your host, Regina Partain Bergman, and I am delighted to have a new co host with me today. My guest co host today is Andrew Crawford. Welcome, Andrew. How are you today?
I'm doing well.
Awesome. So glad to have you here. Glad that you agreed to be our co host and to bring some amazing panelists with you. Let me tell folks just a little bit about you, and then I want you to share your story, a bit about your journey, who you serve, and why that's important. So, folks, Andrew is the founder and CEO of Compliance Specialists. And it was founded specifically to protect and serve the smallest U.S. businesses' needs for compliance with data security laws and regulations. And trust me, we all need that, don't we? So, Andrew, please share with us a bit about your journey. What's brought you to this place? Why is this so important to you? Because I know it is. Why is it so important to you? And who are you serving?
Well, I'm going to start with the why. Um,
Okay.
Growing up, I wore glasses, so I always kind of liked the underdog that wins and root for the underdog. And to me, when it comes to this whole security stuff, the underdog is the mom and pop shops that have been in business for a long time and they haven't a clue how vulnerable they are. And I like to play hero. So it's very satisfying to protect somebody like that when they don't have a clue as to the vulnerability or that they're risking their entire business because they don't have protections in place, they don't have the right training, or they don't have the right policies to be able to stand up against a legal challenge. And
Mm,
so um, years ago, I got challenged by a friend of mine to see whether or not I could do compliance for the smallest US business. And in that case, that would be like the single person working from home. And my answer today is yes, it can be done. And I know how to do it. And so that led me to establishing compliance specialists as that vehicle to promote the idea that everyone needs to be compliant with data security and privacy laws.
so we need to thank that friend that challenged you. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah,
You may have already done that a bunch of times.
he knew me quite well. He challenged me by saying, "Here's the HIPAA laws. Why don't you read this? We'll talk about it." He knew me that I'd read them.
Either you did.
So
And that was the beginning.
that was the beginning. I came back to him and I said, "Wow, things have really changed, haven't they?" And he said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And it's one of those subjects we don't spend enough time thinking about, let alone talking about uh, for
well,
most
most
small
small
businesses,
business
I would
people
say.
are worried about their business, doing their
Yeah.
business. They're not thinking about the fact they're connected to an internet that's connected to more than 5 billion people.
Yeah. And many of them bad players.
You only need a few.
Yeah. Amen. That's so true. Uh, so, Andrew, would you please introduce the guests that you've brought with you today and have them share a bit about their journey, who they serve, and why?
Sure. Rich Kozak uh, with Rich Brands. He's a branding master that adds rocket fuel to your brand. I don't remember the right slogan, but that's he can tell you. And then Wayne of Alan Wayne Photography, master at headshots. And both of these gentlemen have been involved with my business, and I'm delighted that they made it.
Awesome. So let's hear from each of them individually on what their stories are and who they serve and why. You want to
Rich?
start with Rich? Do you want to tell us your story?
Sure, I'd be glad to. And hi, Andrew. Hi, Regina. And hi, Wayne. It's great to be here with you. So I'm in my 47th, going on 48th year defining and languaging brands. For several decades, I did it with very large companies in an agency that had partners in 21 countries. I was a certified global branding consultant, and that's kind of a high pressure job, but I loved it and I was addicted to it. I resigned when I turned 50. I was doing all-nighters, and I figured I was headed for a heart attack, and changed my prayer. Lord, I'm resigning this addictive career to reshape my life. Show me what you want me to do. I'm ready. And it didn't take long for individuals in my networks to ask me to help them with their individual brands. And I told them I didn't do that anymore. And they're like, that's not true. You just don't charge for it. We want your help. Okay. So long story short, for the last 10 years, at Rich Brand, I came back into branding, but only for individuals who envision the impacts they can have through their work, through their business, through their gift, through their calling on those whose lives they touch. So I teach and mentor and guide and act as a consultant in impact-driven branding. And it's a series of steps, and it's just steps. People think branding is something else, but they don't know. They're misinformed and they're tricked by the industry of marketing services telling the people that it'll be good for your branding. But teach them to get through these 7 steps to take their brand to the highest level of impacts. And that's typically much closer or right on their purpose versus their business. So I help businesses come alive in the right way, doing branding right. There are a lot of people, the people I really love to serve are like Andrew, who have decades of experience, but they know they're not done. And they have a vision of the impacts they know they can have. Like, he had a vision for compliance specialists, didn't know what to call it, but he knew that there was this convergence of technologies that was going to do in the small business, and he could prevent it with all he knew. And he created this company in order to help individual businesses, the smallest U.S. businesses, be in compliance with all of these data security and privacy laws, which could get them fined and then sued and out of business. And they wouldn't even know what happened. And all those entrepreneurs and the people that work for them would be like, it would help. And it's destined to impact millions of businesses. And so that's what I do. These days at Rich Brands, we actually evolve individuals' businesses, individual brands with deep clarity, because that's usually what's missing, the clarity and the way it presents itself, with longevity so they can do what they love and do enjoy for the next decades, and divine purpose, to build a platform that makes it easier for them to step from what they do, their business, to why they're here. Praise God. So that's who I am and what I do and why I do it. Rich Brands, not your normal.
And you're enjoying it.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like love, not like work. I mean, that's the way we know we're doing what we're made to do. So.
Exactly.
And I want to make the point that branding and marketing are different. Getting clarity on your brand so helps the marketing, because now you have a clear message to move forward with. So often the marketers want you to sign up and do all these automated things and all these bots and all these things, and they expect you to have that clear message already, and you don't. So it just ends up being a muddled mess, and I've done it. So
haven't we all?
The difference.
We actually say if you don't define in language your brand, you're destined for 6 bad consequences. Confusion, misinformation. You don't get credit for what makes you outstanding. You waste a ton of money on, I thought it would be a good idea, and you lose a lot of time. We only have so much time, so let's get on our purpose.
Absolutely, love it. Thank you. It's good to see you again, Rich.
Thanks. Good to see you too.
I've had the pleasure of having Rich on a previous show, so it's great to have you back. And Wayne, how about your story and who you serve and why?
Wow, I have to follow that. Wow.
You have to follow that, Wayne. Sorry. I'm sure it'll be fantastic.
It's not as fantastic or dynamic as Rich there. He does a great service, and so does Andrew. Service and business. I mean, business and serve people at the same time. So that's great. I try to do that. I am a professionally trained and experienced headshot photographer. And the reason I got into it is because I saw so many people's headshots that look more like a mugshot than a headshot. It's not good. It bothered me. and the cell phone shots that everybody takes today and throws it up for a headshot. And, it's like, why is that not important to you? Your business is important. The quality of your business is important. Isn't your headshot part of your business? Shouldn't it fall into that same category of quality as everything else you do in your business? So I started doing quality professional headshots, and some people see the light and I get clients, but other people is like, yeah, cell shots are good enough. Or, I just took one 10 years ago, it looks fine, yeah, sure. Okay. The one you took right before the pandemic, it's time to upgrade. So, and along with that is closely related are the portrait shots that I do. Now, portraits and headshots are closely related, but yet at the same time, they're entirely different. So individual portraits, couples portraits, family portraits, even pet portraits for that matter. Children included in that. A lot of people stay away from children and pets both, and I don't. I am able to work with children and able to work with the pets, and I've had pets all my life, so you build a rapport with them. And that's another thing about doing the photography that I do, whether it be headshots or portraits, either one. A big factor in that is not just the lighting and the camera controls and all that sort of thing, but being able to work with the client. That's how you get the quality. That's how you get, well, how would I say, you get their personality and get to bring out or create a picture in, for instance, a portrait. That's where you are able to bring out their character and really make a portrait hanging on the wall that people look at and go, wow, it just draws me in. It's because I'm able to work with the people, and that's how you get that sort of thing. Not with the camera, not with the lights, but with the interaction with the people to get them to do what you need to do to bring out their natural personalities. So
Awesome.
I guess that's my
Did you
story.
have more there, Wayne? Okay. Okay.
Well, not really. I mean, I could ramble on. I'm an old man. I ramble on, but we'll just leave it at that.
So I'm going to ask a question. How did the three of you come to know one another? So Andrew and Rich, obviously you've worked together on the branding piece. But how did you connect initially, or did you know each other before that? Or?
Actually, all of us met through Christian Business Partners.
Nice.
One way or another, a meeting, etc. Funny story is I met Wayne at Christian Business Partners. He joined the Rancho Cucamonga chapter that I'm part of. And it was a short time later we figured out that he had been talking with my wife and taking pictures of my daughter. And my wife was talking about this guy.
I'm not sure that came out the way you wanted it. It was intriguing for sure. But...
Interesting story for sure.
It was funny.
So she knew him before you, or before that you knew it was the same person that you both knew?
Right.
Yeah.
We were both talking about this guy and didn't realize it was the same guy.
Didn't realize the same person.
Andrew, and he mentioned the name of his wife and the name of his daughter, and I went, well, you know that I know two people that are by those same names. And, we just started putting two and two together here, and it ended up adding up, and we're going, oh, you got to be kidding me! What a coincidence this is! So yeah, crazy. Yeah, I just did a headshot with this young gal with that name, and well, that's who she is. That's my daughter. And I went, what?
That's great. Okay. So my next question is, Rich and Wayne, have you collaborated together? Because your product, Wayne, obviously supports Rich's work in branding, right? I see a real opportunity to work together there. Have the two of you collaborated in any fashion there?
We've talked before. We haven't shared clients, but I will lift up in a heartbeat the work that Wayne does and how qualified he is to do it. The fact that he knows that he's focused on capturing the energy, giving the person he's photographing access to their own authenticity through what he captures in the photo is huge. photos are first impression management devices.
Yes.
People might see a photo before they even meet you. And if the energy, if they feel your energy from that photo, Andrew will be the first to tell you, like when we plan a photo shoot, we literally take a prioritized list of characteristics, adjectives that the brand must get credit for and bake them in, bake the top 3 into every photo.
Well, you said it's
and gestures, facial expressions. It's like we plan photo shoots like that to make sure that we get credit, because when every photo gets captioned, when you bake it into the photo and then you caption the photo, you're going to get credit. Oh yeah, they look like that, and so very, very present of what a photo can do and I mean, good and bad. So God bless Wayne for what he's doing. And I love that he does portraiture as well. It is very different, but the Venn diagrams overlap. So he is an excellent resource for anybody who wants to do a new business shot that doesn't look like I'll just use my passport photo. No! Don't do it. Or, the DMV so they can get me a
trade show headshot photographer.
Yeah, right.
Those always turn out really well.
Next. Yeah, right.
Thank you. You did that so much better than I could have. That was awesome. Wow.
Well, yeah, and Wayne goes way back, and he has the heart for it, and he has the skill set for it. And like you heard him say, he's trained, but that wasn't a throwaway. There are certain things that when you have them in your mind and you're behind the camera, it's just going to turn out better. So Wayne is the one. I mean, anybody listening to this and you're thinking, well, I don't really know any photographers. Well, you know Wayne.
Well, you know Wayne now.
Pay attention and call him, for crying out loud. I mean, yeah.
A headshot too is different depending on what industry you're in. You've got to capture that industry as well. So that has to come out in the photo.
Good point. Good point.
I remember reviewing your photos, Andrew. We name the photos.
Yeah.
It's like industry foresight, looking toward the light. We name the photos so that we remember them by name and by characteristic. Yeah. So.
Awesome. What I'm hearing right now, particularly what you just did, Rich, what you just said, what I'm hearing is the essence, in my mind, of collaboration. Because you are bringing out the strengths and helping and adding value to someone else, right? And when we collaborate, it's not about what we get from it so much, but also how do we impact somebody else's life positively? How do we support them and add value? And so I think what you just demonstrated, even without me paying you ahead of time to do that, what you just demonstrated was great insight into how we can collaborate. Would you agree, gentlemen?
Right. I'd like to follow up too and say the way that Rich put that into words is far above and beyond what I could have done. And that reflects on his business, on his branding business. That's his branding done verbally, which sure is part of the business, verbally or written or even in pictures. But he did that, a verbal branding of my business, and he did an excellent job of it. So that reflects on how good he is at what he does.
Yeah. Very good.
Definitely a God-given talent.
Life is a team sport. We're not meant to do this alone.
Exactly.
There's a lot of biblical references for it. The body, we're all a different piece of the body, but we work together for the right. And so we get to lift each other up. The book I read every morning says we're only here for 2 reasons. One is share love, and the other is praise God. And if we don't get those both right, we need to go back to number 1. And lifting each other up is part of sharing love. As is cooking, but that's a whole different show. So I'm ready for that one.
No, we're not doing a cooking show here today. Thank God.
Andrew, what's your definition of collaboration? What does collaboration mean to you?
For me, it's coming alongside a business, and what I do helps them do what they do. It's it fits my personality because it's more behind the scenes. They don't see everything we're doing, but we're preventing things from happening, or we're monitoring what's going on. We get alerts when something changes and it wasn't expected to be changed. So what's going on? Before damage happens, somebody's taking a look at it. This is the kind of things that happen because most people are not breached instantaneously. They're breached, and then the people who have successfully gotten inside your computer sit and watch for a while, poke around a little bit, see what's going on. Before they actually pounce, they've been in your computer longer than you want to believe. And so there is the opportunity to protect people. And so for me, collaboration is that behind the scenes, keeping an eye on things. That means that they can confidently go ahead with their business without worrying about technical stuff that they don't really understand.
I thought that was brilliant, the way you worded it, Andrew. And I'm looking at your logo, and the tagline says, protecting you to grow. Well, that is the common denominator of every small business that's not a hobby. They want to grow. They know what they can do. They want to do more. They want to build a business. They want to grow. But they don't think they're vulnerable, and they are the most vulnerable. And when you look at that word collaboration, Andrew's idea of coming alongside collaboration, I mean, look at the Latin roots, co, together, labor, this work. So it's like working together to grow and make healthy and make successful, in his case, the smallest U.S. businesses. So, oh my gosh, he does it every day. He's
I think you each do it every day.
Yeah.
And I think collaboration is one of those things that a lot of people don't associate. I need to collaborate with my clients. I think they don't think of it that way, but you're each collaborating with your clients, with your clientele, from what I can hear from you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every day.
The way I look at Andrew's business is he's kind of like a doctor in computers. He kind of looks things over and does a checkup on your equipment, your computers. Says, yeah, kind of looks like you got some things maybe down the road here that you're not going to like too well. Things are going to happen, and you're vulnerable to this, you're vulnerable to that. Like if the doctor says, your lifestyle, your diet is going to lead you to a heart attack, sort of thing. So he kind of does the same thing, only with computers. So
good analogy.
And lots of words that you don't even want to hear because they'll just confuse you, like email demarc status.
Yeah,
like
really.
Really will mess you up because you think people are getting your emails, and guess what? They're not.
Yeah. Dr. Crawford, very good. Very good. Way to go.
Yeah.
I've always liked to be the guy in the background keeping things humming along. Friend and I used to say, if they don't think about us, that means things are going smoothly.
There you go.
Don't go see Dr. Crawford before it happens. You'll end up seeing somebody else in the emergency room, and you see somebody else in an emergency situation if you don't see Dr. Crawford ahead of time.
And,
So
and emergency situations always cost more.
Oh yeah.
Always
Keep that in mind. Yeah, really, yeah.
And they can be fatal.
Yes.
Yeah. Andrew, can I tell the message hierarchy story?
Sure.
All right. So Andrew wasn't natural when I first met him. He's way, way better now. He wasn't naturally a marketing person, didn't have a marketing mind, didn't have that mindset. And he's gotten quite good at executing his brand using the brand language and being consistent and with messaging hierarchy. So at the end of brand development, we create, when all the work has been done and we've looked at competitor set and we've looked at the categories of expertise that the brand must get credit for. We do a message hierarchy, and the number one message overcomes the number one barrier. Well, this was years ago, before COVID, just before COVID, and we had just finished message hierarchy. And the number one barrier was that small businesses didn't think they were vulnerable. They weren't even paying attention. Oh yeah, we're too small. And they hear words like cybersecurity and they think Star Wars and they go, oh yeah, I'm too small. But they're not. They are the easiest picking. Okay. And so the number one message was, if you're open for business, you're open for a business killing event. It was a great
Ooh.
message. It's like, oh, you know, it really grabs you. And then COVID came and nobody was open. It's like, we couldn't use it. It was so frustrating because that was truly one of the best number one message hierarchy, number one, you know, break the number one barrier busters that we'd ever written, but I couldn't use it.
And then you couldn't use it. Did you bring it back around after COVID?
We're bringing it back now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on it.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
One of the biggest I try to promote is for family portraits is the pictures are a lot more important than you think they are until you have, for instance, you're threatened by fire, like the fire season that's going on here. And what's the first thing people want to grab? They want to grab their pets and their pictures.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pets and pictures? Yeah, they want the pictures. Those are the most valuable thing in their house besides their pets and their family is the pictures.
Yep. There were scenes on the TV of that. Exactly.
Yep.
Important papers and pictures.
Yep. They want to grab the pictures.
It's part of the legacy that we create and hand to those who come after us.
Right.
And when we think about how we cherish a photo of our, you know, grandparents from Eastern Europe or whatever, wherever you came from, you know, if we didn't have those, you know, let's just say it's really important to have those, and you don't want to lose them.
Yeah.
So, and if you don't create them, you won't have them now, will you? Did we mention you should call Wayne? Seriously.
I was at another meeting this morning earlier, in-person meeting, and I tried to promote that. I said, well, you know what? Christmas is only 104 days away. I can't think of a better gift that you could give your kids or your grandkids than a portrait of yourself and your wife as grandparents. They're going to love that. They're going to keep that for ages. Awesome. So, you know, let's get together here and create that wonderful legacy picture of you and your spouse, and let your grandkids or your kids hanging on the wall. They're going to treasure that for forever, long after you're gone.
I'd like to see a Thanksgiving gift of the grandparents and the grandchildren.
Yeah, that would be great.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
We have a daughter who every year gives us a calendar for Christmas with all the birth dates, all the anniversaries, you know, so the top, you know, it's a wall calendar. The top half is pictures of everybody that's going to be in that month for something. And then every day of the month that there's an event, there's the picture, a little picture of that person on that event.
Right.
Nice. Yeah. Not the professional level you're talking about, but nonetheless, the emotional value is there. That emotional.
At the end of the year, you throw those away, right?
No.
Yeah. You don't. Oh, I have throw them away
forever.
Oh, see?
Historical reference.
Oh my
God! Like church directories, you know, it's like check this out.
Right.
There you go. So this next question I want to ask you, I want you to give both sides of this. I want you to give, what have you felt has been one of the most valuable collaborations you've ever been involved in, both from a giver side and a receiver side? You know, so that you were in a collaboration. Well, what was the one that you got the greatest value from, but also what was a collaboration where you felt like you were able to give great value in that collaboration?
Well, yeah, I could think of one of them that just popped to the top of my head right off the bat was the family shoot that I did with Andrew, of all people, the person that's here. And we got a picture of his mother before she passed on with with her great granddaughter together, and turned out to be a really cool picture. And I just felt so good about being able to capture that I take a lot of pictures of the family and different groups of the family, and we got that one of the two of them. And I thought, wow, that's what I try to go for whenever I can, is something like that when I do family portraits.
And that picture was a non-staged picture.
No, yeah, it wasn't staged.
It happened, and he grabbed it.
Wow.
And with his professional abilities, it just turned out unbelievably good.
I love getting those shots, the natural shots like that.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh, that's sweet. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my mind went to two phases of the same kind of collaboration. One is being one of the fathers helping to guide a Boy Scout troop that was filled with young men who were playground buddies and all joined scouts together and said, let's all go Eagle Scout, which is very rare. And two of the other dads were Eagle Scouts, and I was a little busy playing my violin and doing other stuff, and I didn't make it past Wolf and Cub Scout, but I read the book faster than the kids did. So, but that collaboration, which was years, from 11 to 18, helping to imbue character and confidence as a co-parent, if you will, because, you're everybody's dad.
Yeah.
Is marvelous. And I jumped to the present. One of my clients is a female teacher of decades, and she used the character building tenets from national standards of character education and created materials for parents to use in minutes a day at home. And we created a brand for her called kidswhocare.com. Kids Who Care, Parents Building a Foundation for Generation, and the website is buildingkidswhocare.com. And it is a global brand. She thought it was, a little something she would do after retirement. It's a global brand. Literally has the power to change, to shape character and humanity. And both very similar collaborations.
Wow. You can clearly see the great impact from both of those, Rich.
Neat being a part
Not
of it.
just on those people that you were working with, but it's, there's a term I use a lot, and that's being part of the ripple effect, and that's a huge ripple.
And we get to Wayne gets to, Andrew gets to, you get to, I get to, we all get to. That's what we all have in common. Every human. Yeah. We get to make the most significant impact on those whose lives we touch based on the gifts we've been given. And some people get off track on the hamster wheel, or, they watch too much news and they get depressed. I mean, whatever they're doing, it's like we all get that opportunity. Get on with it.
Yeah, take advantage of the opportunity. It's right in front of you.
Having a good day, have Wayne shoot your photos. Yeah.
There you go.
Talk to Andrew before your brand opens its mouth, please.
Wayne, did you have something to add to that?
Well, if Andrew's still thinking, which he looks like he is, I just want to add one other one real quick. I was doing a headshot of all things for a client of mine, and he had his wife and two daughters with him, and one of the little girls was probably about 3, something like that, and she was just being a real pain. She was interrupting everything and just being I was in the studio, and it was just like, oh my gosh, craziness. But anyway, he picked her up. The father that I was doing the headshot for picked her up, held her in his arms, which calmed her down. She thought that was great. And she turned towards the camera with this beautiful smile on her face. And he just happened to be looking my way too with the smile. Oh, I snapped that shot, and it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. That was a headshot session. It wasn't even meant to be family, but it turned out to be a great family shot between a father and a daughter. So
that's awesome.
Those ones like that are the best shots of all.
And it was worth every bit of the $5,000 you charge him when he saw the shots.
Right.
It's like the consultant that gets $2,000 for hitting the machine in the right place, right?
Yeah.
$2 for hitting the machine, and the rest for knowing where to hit.
I've heard the shipbuilder with a yeah, that's a great story. Great story.
Yeah. Andrew and I Andrew had his past. He has a deep past in IT and in managed services, helping people make sure they have the right systems and their systems are working and so forth. But he came to me with the vision that he saw of how all these trends are converging. And what we did together, along with the help of several other people who were involved, the fellow who helped develop the look of the brand, the fellow who helped to build the website, was a collaboration from a clean slate.
Mm.
And what it has turned out to be is a result of that literally years-long collaboration and making that brand real and come alive, and present itself and what it can do and what people should do if they want to, you know, protect themselves to grow. They don't have to know how to do it. They just need to know they need it.
Right.
Pretty cool. We won't take you into the night where we did the first you know how people say a picture's worth 1,000 words, because that was it was, let's call it a mini collaboration. Picture's worth 1,000 words. So we're at the end of brand development and we're discussing something, and one of us said, it's like true small business data security, and we're like, whoa, I like that. True small business data security. Let's trademark that. Oh, yeah. Hey, yeah, that's great. So Andrew says, so what would that be actually? And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. We just think this stuff up. It's up to you to make sure, you know. And so we brainstormed, and I was using the annotation tool, and it was ugly. It was like this art, you know, it's like but it's like, well, they have to have the standards. Oh, they have to have a mindset, you know, and it was ugly, but it ended up being a absolutely pictures with 1,000 words infographic that says there are 19 essential elements in true small business data security. And it gave each of them a primary crayon color, so it didn't look complicated, you know, around a circle.
Right.
And they're in order, you know, first you have to have vulnerability awareness, right? And when he presents, he says, you don't have to remember all this. Just know there's 19 and you need them all. If you don't have them all, you're not secure. It's like, wow. Okay. That little miniature collaboration was worth its weight in gold, because it helps people see what they can't see, and they don't even have to remember it. It's sweet.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Andrew, will you share with us, please, from your perspective, what's a collaboration you've been involved in where you felt you gave a lot or where you received a lot?
Well, I've received a lot by working with Rich, to be honest.
I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, the man has words that aren't in my vocabulary, you know. I'm a tech guy, so to me, you know, collaboration is doing tech stuff, and but life is collaboration, really.
Done well.
Yeah, and so if you stop and think about it that way, then collaboration changes from some kind of competition with your competitors to working alongside people. And
tell them the press release story, Andrew. You know, when you literally spent time and money to put out the AI press release about having a policy because you knew how vulnerable when they weren't even thinking about it.
Right.
We collaborated with the PR guy that got it out all over the world.
Yep. Yeah, we did. And I still have people coming to my website and picking up their copy of the acceptable use for AI policy, giving that away for free.
Nice.
Because when I went to create it, it didn't exist. And so I had to literally research it and write it myself. And surprisingly, it's been a couple of years. I've reviewed it and everything is still pretty accurate. So I haven't had to update it yet. So there's a lot of AI stuff going on out there. And my caution to everyone is be careful how you use it. You don't want to expose your client's data to an AI that will then spit that out to other people.
Or your own data, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Totally agree with that.
Way too common. People
I'm
are
sure it
enamored.
is.
It's the shiny object of shiny objects, AI.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what Andrew said about Rich having words that don't even exist in his vocabulary? I think I expressed that earlier when I said he described me and did a description of my business that was way beyond what I could have done. So that's just proves what Andrew's just saying.
Yeah.
He's a great friend to have in your hip pocket, isn't he?
Yeah.
We all have gifts. People need to know about you, Wayne. They need to understand,
Yes.
and about Andrew. Regina has created a platform to enable us to have this conversation so that people can hear. That's really amazing.
It's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess
It's one of the most fun things I get to do.
the collaboration that really comes to mind when I get a chance to mull it about is I have been 11 years with an internet radio station, and I do the background, I do the programming, I record programs and put them up. I keep the servers running. Um, I'm not the face of the business, but the gentleman that runs it, he could not do it without my help because he's not technical. But
Right.
he's a people person, and so he's a magnet for people, and I just keep the stations running. And together, that collaboration has been successful for the last 11 years and continuing on. In fact, we're getting ready to release what he calls KCWG Plus, which is going to be multiple languages, um, Arabic, Spanish, um, I think there's some Filipino. There's a bunch of different people that he's gotten in contact with that are going to be pumping up programs to us, and we're going to spin up a new station, and it will be the KCWG Plus station, and it's available anywhere on the internet. And so people in other countries can hear the broadcast of
Wow.
these various pastors. So we're excited about that collaboration, and I sometimes forget that that is a collaboration. I just do it, but it's I like it because I get to do the technical side, and they do all the people stuff.
Yeah. So playing to our strengths in terms of collaboration is really important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
I
in
think
the Bible, David did that with his mighty men. He didn't do everything. He
Yeah.
had 30 guys that worked with him.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, this has been fun. This has been great. You each bring such tremendous value. And I love the relationship that I'm seeing in this room and how you support one another and you're there for each other. And, I mean, even if you are not officially participating in a collaboration that you're all in, you are all collaborating with one another and supporting one another and making a difference in the world. And I thank you for doing that. Thank you for being here today. So let's go ahead and move into our wrap up round. So, Andrew, at this time, I would like for you to call on each person, including yourself, to share your final thoughts on collaboration and your contact information.
Okay. Rich, go ahead.
Well, I think we get to bring. I'm just going to say to anyone who listens to this, speak from your heart and bring your gift. When you lift up someone else, it lifts you up. Even when there's something negative that you don't want to talk about or share, when you pull it from behind your back and put it in front of you and put a spotlight on it, you overcome it and you help others heal. So take a step and speak from your heart and lift others up. It's one of those things that if you could do that every day and all day long, you would feel so fulfilled. So do it. and do what you really enjoy doing, so that you're doing that work in love and not in duty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wayne, what do you want to add?
Well, I'd like to sum it up by talking about what I know best, and that's photography. Is with the portraits and the headshots, I bring the expertise, I bring the training that I've had, I bring the camera, the equipment, the lighting, and all of that kind of stuff. But I can't do it all, even with all of that. I need you. I need you to collaborate with me, to cooperate with me when we work together to get that energy out of you and to get that energy in the picture and to make that happen. So collaboration in my business is very important. I can't do it all, no matter how much I've got to offer. I can't do it all without working with you. Together, we make it happen.
And I want to add that one of the things I've learned in running my own business last 14 years is to outsource, to let others do what they're good at, let go. And for a solo person or a small businessman, it's very difficult because they've built it. It's theirs. They've got their fingers so deeply embedded in it, they can't let go, and they need to let go. My brand couldn't have gotten here without Rich's help and me letting go. My website wouldn't be what it is today if I had continued trying to run it myself. And I think a lot of small business fall into the trap that collaboration is going to be a problem instead of a solution. And it really is better to get those that are experts to help you with your business. Your business will grow because of it. And so I think it's just a really valuable lesson that you will go much further if you collaborate, if you're willing to let others in and let them help you. And people delight in helping other people. So why not relax the hands a little bit and let others help you grow your business?
Wonderful. Wonderful. Great advice, all of you. Thank you so much.
Andrew. That was beautiful.
It was indeed. It was indeed.
You wanted
And we
our
all do
contact
fall into
information?
Say that again.
You wanted our contact
I
information?
do. I'd like you to verbally give your contact information. Yes, please.
So my website is compliancespecialistusa.com. There you'll find a wealth of information. And you can also contact me at andrew@compliancespecialistusa.com or use the contact form on the website.
Excellent. Excellent. Very good. Well, thank you, gentlemen. This has been a pleasure to spend this time with each of you, all of you together. And again, I love the energy that you have around working with others and supporting others and helping them and making a difference in the world. That's why we're here, is to make a difference, right? We're here to help others along their journey as well. So thank you again. And that wraps up our show for today. So we'll see you all next time on Collaboration Conversations. Bye for now.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us, Regina.
Yes.
My pleasure.